Good evening, everyone. System Chalk here with the 131st episode of Book of Hours, our first run through YouTube, playing as the artist who has mastered the 9 modes and 9 horizons. So we do have a few open options for today. One of them could be the Red Forbidding. I'm actually probably more inclined towards doing this. I should take a look at the Ruby Wise Ruin again because I believe... I'm trying to remember if I need the Sacrament Callicite or not. So, well, it looks like I was working on 12 Grail before, but with Mrs. Kill we've got 2. We would add the Arab up to 5. Spice Scales would bring us up to 6. The Newman would bring us up to 11. So we can actually get to 15 with a Ruby Wise Ruin. So I think that's a pretty easy call for tomorrow. We probably also want to make an effort on one of these books, but I don't think it would hurt for me to try and clear out, we'll catalog a few of the books and then also maybe try and get rid of some curses as well. We'll see how the day goes. And then depending on how the rest of the season turns out, we should probably consider... we'll probably wind up buying a book from Oriflamme's. But yeah, I think right now let's focus on... We will open up another room. That doesn't seem too hard. Let's make our target for today to catalog the existing books. We'll maybe put a... Let's start by getting Mrs. Kill in. So let me speak with Mrs. Kill. Mrs. Kill's mood always improves when I drop by. Mrs. Kill stands ready to help. You always cheer me up, she says morosely. We also want to get we want to get the Grail memories, so we will read the appropriate text again. Okay. Trying to remember... I think it might have been the Devoured Tantra, now that I think of it. Maybe the Wonderful Shape. Sorry, I'm trying to think what my best path would be. Okay, here's what we're going to do. Let's take a look at what it's going to take to get rid of some curses. So we've got the Gospel of Zacchaeus with the Synthictate. Man, it is really weird to use a notebook. The biggest thing is that I tend to do a lot of, mostly whenever I'm working at this computer, I tend to do it in the dark. So having a tablet is kind of nice just because it's a digital screen. I don't need to worry about the lighting, but it's a little funny to try and write things down. So we've got Synthic Taint. So... And if I recall correctly, if I mouse over this, it's not going to show me... Yeah, okay. So not curse 7. Nectar Corruption. 7. I should just say they're all 7, but... Infestation. I believe this is the same one. Yeah. And then I thought I had another one, but I think we actually might have healed that book. So if it's just 4, it's not that bad. Okay. So the next part here is to find the things that actually get rid of the curses. This is always a tricky one for me. The good news is when you find one, you can usually find the others because it does have an aspect. But okay, theoplasmic contamination is not what I'm looking for. Okay. I am actually kind of surprised we have that many with corruptions. So herbs and infusions. I suspect that's going to be the best I can do. Given that I'm looking for nectar, so... So if I can find another 5 nectar to throw at it, and of course the challenge here is that this is going to have to be at a desk. So I can bring a tool, I can bring memories, and I can bring inks. Okay, infestations. There we go. Now, ideally we find something with winter, but I don't think we have anything that'll do the trick. Nope. Okay. So effectively what I'm looking for there is some combination of memory and ink. I don't see it working any other way in that case. And then curses, I am kind of stumped on, actually. Oh, yes, that's right. Sacra Solus Invicti. I don't think we're going to have any knock there, but... So... yeah. Okay. Now again, the good news with the knock is that we just really need to find 2 more. And the catches, so I'll give you an example of the kind of problem I've got here. So the vagabond desk would be a candidate. Oh, actually, you know what? No, this is easier than I thought. So we bring the Shapt, we bring the Newman, and we're good. Okay, so we're going to set aside the Shapt for that. Now, nectar's a tough one. So I can add 1 more with the health. Okay, so if I take the health, I've got 1, and then herbs and infusions, I've got 2. So we're up to 3, and then I add a mortar and pestle, and we're up to 4. So really what I'm looking for is 3 nectar, which I can do with the Hive's Lament, but do I want to give up the Hive's Lament for that? I don't think I do. But I am in a better spot than I thought I would be. So we'll keep the Shapt, the Whiz. You know what? I'll keep my health. I'm going to keep my health aside and my core. And let's say... Okay, and we'll keep the metal and the Arab aside too. So I'm obviously keeping a lot of stuff aside right now, but that's because I have a couple of specific plans for the day. So with the existing resources that I have, let's say we'll use Faust to... So right now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to catalog all of these books. Again, we don't really worry about doing them one at a time because I do not want to spread curses to all the other books. So, Catalog a Dawn Period book. This book was probably written around the time of Hush House's Dawn Period, sometime before the end of the first millennium, commonly reckoned. If I examine it, I can learn more about what knowledge it might contain. Okay, so Trist we can use at, well, Ava's desk, but we were already using Ava's desk, so Natan's desk. Now let's make Fet for that one, actually. Okay. And the Trist we should be able to be used in the reading room desk. So we'll have one more, but mostly right now I just want to see what I'm up against. Okay, do I want to... I think I'll try and earn a little bit of money. Ah, it's a rainy day, so that might help me... Nah, won't really. I was thinking maybe that'll help me get rid of the curse, but I can't see how I would apply it. Okay. Midwife's assistance. As somber as autumn, as kind as autumn, she also likes her beer. So let's start by talking with her about the Arab Plus. My pride will find an echo in theirs. And I've carried the memory like a flambeau safe through the mazes of night. So we'll see what we can do with the solace, but I'm not too focused on that. So this is going to be pretty straightforward to level up Mrs. Kill. We will talk with her to get some extra memories, seeing as I might want to read... Actually, if I'm going to be reading text, I should probably be doing that sooner rather than later. Let's read the High Traditions of the Noble Endeavor. Okay, and that I think we can use, well, let's use Auroral Contemplations. Edge of Conquest. I can master this mystery. Now again, this is this already tells us what we're going to get, Disciplines of the Hammer, so we can angle our investigations towards that, but I'm not really going to bother with that at this point, for the simple reason that I actually have other things I want to use these elements of the soul for right now. So I can master this mystery. The other thing that's nice is I believe Disciplines of the Hammer is quite a low-level skill for me, so it shouldn't be that hard to get what I need just from conversation with Mrs. Kill. Alright, so we have The Burning Woman, a transcription of the play by Menander the Victor, possibly the dramatist of that name, into Frisian with commentaries. So looks like I have quite a few forged texts on here already. We have The Origins of Hours. The sage and ecstatic Soham, a frequent visitor to the Mansis, claimed to have discovered discourse with the beach crow in person. Soham later insisted on a sky burial. Okay. Should double check that these things don't have curses. There's a lot more in terms of icons here, so it's a little easier for me to overlook some of the different aspects. Okay, on Matthias and Amethyst Imago, loss. This is a 6 moth text, so pretty easy for us to read. Kind of appropriate that it is moth as well. And finally, Those Who Do Not Sleep, which was afflicted with keeper skin. However, it does affect Arab and core, so I got lucky there. And yet another instance of keeper skin. It's that one I suspect we're going to struggle with. But again, we'll work with what we've got. So, anyways, Not the end of the world right now, but I might want to start thinking about so I mean, one of the things I probably need to admit is I'm not going to get everything fixed that I want today. So let's actually think about the difficult ones first. So if I were to attempt, I think this would be a nectar desk. So let's just say, for the sake of argument, that I was going to try and get rid of the keeper skin. So we take herbs and infusions. So we'll do those who do not sleep. Apparently we can add a language, so this feels like cheating, frankly, but if the game allows it, I really thought there would be a language that had nectar. Hang on, so I've got... Oh, we're probably... Does Crack Track have nectar? Well, let's leave that aside. So if we add the rain, and then at this point it's a tool or an ink. And I think it's Ugal would... Cool. So I suppose the question is, am I willing to give up the Ugal? And I think the answer to that is yes. That also tells me that I probably want to start using... I probably want to start using the Ugal more, or sorry, generating Ugal in the future. Okay, I'm going to use this core to... Oh, Crack Track does. Okay. I kind of blew that then, because I didn't need to use the Ugal, and I could have used the Ugal for the other keeper skin. Yeah, that's a shame. Could have used the Ugal with the keeper skin that didn't require translation. But you know what? That's life. I made my choice. Let's start reading the Husher text. Or can I? I should have a desk that can take heart. Yeah. This is going to be a little bit of a tighter window than I would like, but we can still make this work. And remembering, I technically have a core which is coming available as well. I'm cycling it for the money, but it doesn't mean that I need to keep it that way. Okay, now we'll have the memory in 19 seconds, but I can still talk to her about the tool. Proffer a tool, I can lend my assistant something to help, increasing their abilities. So this is where I want to be a little bit careful with the timings, because if I allow the full minute to go by, then I miss out on my Newman and I overwrite the one that I'm getting from the Sun Disfigured. We read this recently, so I'm going to skip over the text for now, although I don't like skipping over things too many times. As I used to say in my youth, the day is done and so am I, but I've earned my pay. I'm also kind of conscious, though, that there are certain texts that I read more often than others, so there is kind of a limit in terms of what you can get out of multiple readings. Some you just want to keep reading, though. So it is summer. I am sitting on a bench outside the Sweet Bones, eating crumbly cheese and nettle wrappings and good black rye bread, soaking up the sun. This tool has boosted their aspects appropriately. So let's take a minute here. We've got Sun's Weakness. Okay, and then we will feed her the Rubywise Ruin, and we're good to go for opening a room. Of course, we'll keep talking with her to get the remaining memories. Okay. So inescapable confinement. So it's nice to know that we've got knock and winter. So this, I kind of have the same question as. Actually, yeah, this is a piece of cake. So the witchworms are definitely gone. We'll probably take care of the synthic taint first. Yeah, let's just do that now. Which one was it? Sacra Solus Invicti. Oh. I didn't think of that possible problem. Okay. This ought to do the trick, though. Or does it? Yes, it will. Okay. Resolve the synthic taint, the Van Loren method. Gervenius Van Loren perfected it in the last years of the Cucurbit prison. Even then, Hush House did more good than harm. Alright, Thyrza Blake theorized that Keeperskin was debased carapace kind, or perhaps its young, but she never could conceive it to speak. Sorry, convince it, not conceive it. Alright, those who do not sleep, so I'm running out of space, but let's I'll put this up here for now. This is actually a welcome surprise because I think I got rid of one of my last phosphorescent scrapings trying to make something else. Okay, things are actually looking up as far as our ability to get certain things done. I think I might try the same trick when I get my core back. In fact, the more I think of it, maybe what I do is I cash in some of this money that I've been earning. So I'm going to need an element of the soul to read the Husher work again. But we have the Whist available. The Nectar one is an open question. Oh, but it takes Henneveck. So I could get that back with health. So we'll set aside the health. Health and a tryst. Core and Whist. And I guess we would do that with the Whist again, but I don't think we're going to have the time. Okay, I like this plan. Okay, memories don't last long outside books, but it's made a difference for the day. So we're going to talk with Mrs. Kill about the Ruby Wise Ruin, and then we will use her to generate some memories. A nice drop. I can offer my assistant something to drink. And again, the spice scales wasn't entirely necessary because we only needed 14. Crimson Mists, Beckon, and Sway, but not going to complain about that. Also, I might want to try and bring back another element of the soul so that I can catalog the last of the Dawn period books. Although it looks like there's quite a few items in here as well. And actually, come to think of it, I would want a... either Shapt or Metal or Arab. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to be able to get everything I want done. But you know what? That's fine. We don't have to... We don't have to do everything today. I am, however, going to try and restore as many elements of the soul as I can. So, let's say we'll use the core to We'll use the core to get the inescapable confinement back. I've already mastered this, but I could reread it and perhaps recall a memory. That would have been smarter for me to restore the health right away because I don't need the Newman to be able to open up the... Well, you know what, that's fine. Mrs. Kill has seen more of the world than she usually lets on. Conversations with her yield the occasional surprise. So once I get the Newman, we'll use that to get rid of one of the witchworms. When we get the health back, we'll use that to clear out the most sorrowful end of Lady Nona. Now, the funny thing is we've actually read this book, but I don't remember what memory it gave us. And then if I can, it would be nice to get the Newman back and the Whist back, but that's a pretty big lift. So if I have to, my fallback would be to catalog the book. Okay, The High Traditions of the Noble Endeavor. A blandly positive work on the Endeavor Club, published by the Endeavor Club. The club was founded in 1862, but claims to draw from much older traditions. Club members are assigned names out of noble myth, Joffrey, Roland, and unexpectedly, Breadbettle. They claim to be heirs of the Leashed Flame, which gave the island of Britain such appalling power in some histories. Their endeavor itself is a purifying fire, which makes its fuel something more than human. This transformation, however, is no longer encouraged by the club, and perhaps the work is coy on this, no longer permitted. So, hammer time and foresight. So let's find my foresight shelf. I think it's this one. Yeah, and then looks like we're adding a second shelf for that. You're joking. How can I... How unusual. Okay. So now I only need one of the Forger Edge memories, and again, we're hoping... Wait a minute, didn't I get a regret? I'm starting to lose my mind. Okay. But yeah, again, as long as we get something from Mrs. Kill, I'm happy. To each serpent, its cure. The Sunthic taint has been removed. So, Gospel of Zacchaeus. I seem to recall this gives a secret threshold. But clearly we have a lot of books and eventually a lot of leveling up to do. But that's good. I mean, again, it means that we're starting to knock down a few of the priorities that I had. Okay, another solace. There it is and can be no tizzer. Mrs. Kill, as every local gossip knows, came from France to marry Mr. Kill, but there's scant trace of the continent in her accent now. So, what else do I want to do in the meantime? I think probably we just wait. I'm mildly hopeful that we'll... I mean, in a pinch, what I can do is I can use the old wound to level up Disciplines of the Hammer, so... Although I would need to make sure that I bring back an element of the soul for that. So, I've got probably 2 more. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I'll bring back the Arab at the very end for Disciplines of the Hammer. I've got Inescapable Confinement, which I'm going to use with the Whist. So what I want to be doing right now is thinking about the different steps I'm going to take. So I've got the Tryst with the... Well, actually, sorry, I'll do this one step at a time. So let's take the Pale Desk. Inescapable Confinement. I don't know if it really matters which of these two, but I'll do the Ascendant just because it's a little bit of an easier text for me. And we had stitching and binding, but I think we should have more than one. Well, it doesn't matter. That's fine. Quell the witchworm contamination. The softest penumbra of the Madrigad's light, invoked carefully through the white flower of the Watchman's tree, drives witchworms to twitching death. Okay, so I think I said I was going to bring back... Yeah, so I was going to bring back health so that I could clear out the keeper skin. So that's going to be the one that I bring back at the Sweet Bones now. Next, I'll bring back the Arab so that I can level up Disciplines of the Hammer. That leaves a free Tryst, and with the free Tryst, I'm going to catalog the last book. So we're kind of hoping that Mrs. Kill gives me the memory that I need, but again, in a pinch, we can use the old wound. And at some point I'll want to make that Ugal ink again, but that's not a major priority right now. Actually, I don't think I have inks of... Oh, I do, yeah. There's the regret. All right. There it isn't be no tizzer. Mrs. Kill, as every local gossip knows, came from France to marry Mr. Kill, but there's scant trace of the continent in her accent now. There's not a whole lot that I need from Mrs. Kill right now, given that we already have a solace that I can take overnight with me. But I figure I can keep talking. I'll give myself some options for the next day. Alright, the White Jade Tablet, supposedly copied from a tablet of white jade, which serves as the Covenant Stone of the Grove of Green Immortals, the token which gives that library shelter beneath the Watchman's tree. That's a 14 moth text, so I'm going to put that on this shelf. Now, we do have a high-level moth. When it comes down to it, we can use the Newman for that. But, I don't know. I am going to need to kind of do an audit of my book. Because you can see here, we actually have quite a few in terms of, just in terms of texts that I've put, like, well, one that I have available, but also that I've kind of put on the too hard pile. And I actually don't think a lot of these are out of my reach anymore, either with inks or with other methods, like using the Newman or whatever. I think probably most of this should be something that I can turn into a lesson. Okay, better now. So we'll use the Arab in this case. Tuppence will buy me a hearty meal in a quiet place where I can rest and gather my thoughts. It is summer, and I am sitting on the bench outside the Sweet Bones, eating crumbly cheese and nettle wrappings and good black rye bread, soaking up the sun. And horrible little things. I can be glad that their screams are almost inaudible. The witchworm infestation has been removed. I'm getting too many of these for my liking. Okay, the Ascendant is definitely not a difficult one for us to read. This is sort of the unofficial, quote-unquote, easy-to-read overflow. Now let's see if I can deliver on that. Oh, you know what? I need to use the Earth sign for it, but you know what? That's a price I'm willing to pay. Okay, so with herbs and infusions... we get the 2. So now we add the most sorrowful end of the Lady Nona. And then if I add the crack track... Oh! Game was too clever for me. So that's a shame because the tool won't do the trick. But I should have another Ugal hanging around somewhere. Not a catwink. That's not it, Parabate. Oh, but this is Ugaling. There we go. Keeper Skin is persistent, but it has its weakness. Okay. I'll maybe make 2 Ugal just to replace my... just to replace what I gave up. But again, we've got what we wanted today. The only thing that I might be missing is it would have been nice to have a another Newman for the next day. Oh, it was unexpected. So we can use that instead of the Solace. And actually, at this point, I think we'll just open up the next room with Mrs. Kill. Some of you will be happy to know that I give people an early night off. So Crimson Mists, Beckon, and Sway. So I know we haven't finished the day for today, but I am a bit over time, so I will leave it there. We're leaving this off in a pretty good spot, though. So one thing that's nice, this wasn't necessarily intended, but I'm happy that it's turned out this way. We're still making progress one room at a time, but a little bit more importantly, we've finally caught up on all of the different books, assuming that there isn't anything in here, and there almost certainly is, just taking a look at the kind of stuff, the stuff in the background. But we're making progress through the Dawn Period rooms. We've cataloged all of the books that are currently available to us. We've even actually made progress on the curses, which have been sort of a long-standing goal for me. So once we do that, I'll be able to direct some of my elements of the soul towards opening the remaining containers. That might even be something that I do tomorrow. And then we can sort of begin in earnest on opening up the various, reading the various texts. Although the challenge there is that once I start opening a text, for some of the ones that are the higher level ones, I'm going to be dedicating quite a few resources towards making sure that I get the memories that I need to be able to level the items up. But I mean, that's the reason why we're reading them, right? So another thing that I'm going to wind up doing is reading the Nona text. That one I'm going to read just so I can remember what its memory was, but that's neither here nor there. Anyways, all of that will be handled tomorrow. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Take care.